An African saint, Saint Maurice, also Maurice, Maurice, or Mauritius, was, according to tradition, the leader of the legendary Roman Theban legion in the 3rd century and one of the favored and most widely venerated saints of that group. He was a patron saint of several professions, locales, and kingdoms. He is also a highly revered saint in the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria and other churches of Oriental Orthodoxy. According to the hagiographical material, Maurice was an Egyptian born in AD 250 in Thebes, an ancient city in Upper Egypt that was the capital of the New Kingdom of Egypt, 1575 to 1069 BC. He was brought up in the region of Thebes, Luxor. Maurice became a soldier in the Roman army. He was gradually promoted until he became the commander of the Theban legion, thus approximately leading 1,000 men. He was an acknowledged Christian at a time when early Christianity was considered to be a threat to the Roman Empire. Yet he moved easily from the pagan society of his day. The legion, entirely composed of Christians, had been called from Thebes in Egypt to Gaul to assist Emperor Maximilian to defeat a revolt by the Bagaudae. The legion was dispatched with orders to clear the Great St. Bernard Pass across Mount Blanc. Before going into battle, they were instructed to offer sacrifices to the pagan gods and pay homage to the emperor. Maurice pledged his military allegiance to Rome. He stated that his service to God superseded all else. To engage in wanton slaughter was inconceivable to Christian soldiers, he said, and he and his men refused to worship Roman deities. The martyrdom of Saint Maurice. However, when Maximilian ordered them to harass some local Christians, they refused. Ordering the unit to be punished, Maximilian had every 10th soldier killed, a military punishment known as decimation. More orders followed. The men refused, as encouraged by Maurice, and a second decimation was ordered. In response to the Theban Christians' refusal to attack fellow Christians, Maximilian ordered all remaining members of his legion to be executed. The place in Switzerland where this occurred, known as Arnunum, is now St. Maurice, Switzerland, site of the Abbey of St. Maurice. So reads the earliest accounts of their martyrdom contained in the public letter which Bishop Eucherius of Lyon, 434-450, addressed to his fellow bishop Salvius. Alternative versions have the legion refusing Maximilian's orders only after discovering a town that they had just destroyed had been inhabited by innocent Christians, or that the emperor had had them executed when they refused to sacrifice to Roman gods. Historicity. There is a difference of opinion among researchers as to whether or not the story of the Theban legion is based on historical fact, and if so, to what extent. The legend by Eucherius of Lyon is classified by Boulevard Hippolyte de Lahey among the historical romances. Donald F. O'Reilly in Lost Legend Rediscovered argues that evidence from coins, papyrus, and Roman army lists support the theory of the Theban legion. Dennis Van Berchem of the University of Switzerland proposed that Eucherius' presentation of the legion of the Theban was a literary production not based on local tradition. The monastic accounts themselves do not specifically state that all the soldiers were collectively executed. An 11th century monk named Otto of Freising wrote that most of the legionnaires escaped and only some were executed. The military staunchly followed Isis or Mithridates' Sol Invictus until the time of Constantine the Great at the earliest, making it unlikely that Christians filled an entire legion. If the legion was a later fabrication by Eucherius, its dissemination served to draw pilgrims to the Abbey of Agunum. Our Lady of Loss. Our Lady of Loss included an apparition of St. Maurice, who appeared in an antique episcopal vestment and told Benonite Ricocoro that he was the one to whom the nearby chapel was dedicated, and that he would fetch her some water before drawing some water out of a well that she had not seen, that she should go down to a certain valley to escape the local guard and to see Mary, mother of Jesus, and that Mary was both in heaven and could appear on earth. The veneration of Saint Maurice. Saint Maurice became a patron saint of the Holy Roman Emperors. In 926, Henry the Fowler, 919 to 926, even ceded the Swiss canon at Argos to the abbey in return for Maurice's lance, sword, and spurs. The sword and spurs of Saint Maurice were part of the regalia used at coronations of the Austro-Hungarian emperors until 1916, and among the most important insignia of the imperial throne. In addition, some of the emperors were anointed before the altar of Saint Maurice at St. Peter's Basilica. In 929, Henry the Fowler held a royal court gathering at Mendenburg at the time of the Martinis Cluster in honor of Maurice was founded. In 961, Otto I, Holy Roman Emperor, was building and enriching Mendenburg Cathedral, which he intended for his own tomb. To that end, in the year 961, the incarnation and the 25th year of his reign, in the presence of all the nobility, on the vigil of Christmas, the body of Saint Maurice was conveyed to him at Brandenburg, along with the bodies of some of the saints' companions and portions of other saints. Having been sent to Mendenburg, these relics were received with great honor by a gathering of the entire populace of the city and of their fellow countrymen, and are still venerated there to the salvation of the homeland. Maurice is also the patron saint of a Catholic parish and church in the Ninth Ward of New Orleans, including part of the town of Irving in St. Bernard Parish. The church was constructed in 1856 but was devastated by the winds and floodwaters of Hurricane Katrina on 29 August 2005. A copper-plated staple was blown off the building. The church is currently closed and the building is for sale. On 19 July 1941, Pope Pius XII declared St. Maurice to be the patron saint of the Italian Army's Alpine Mountain Infantry Corps. The Alpini have celebrated Maurice's feast ever since. Because of his name and native land, St. Maurice has been portrayed as black ever since the 12th century. The oldest surviving image that depicts St. Maurice as a black African knight's armor was sculpted in the mid-13th century for the Mendenburg Cathedral. There it is displayed next to the grave of Otto I, Holy Roman Emperor. Jan Gavisi, the image of black and Western art, laid out the documentary sources for the saint's popularity and documented it with illustrative examples. When the new cathedral was built under Archbishop Albert II of Katzenberg, circa 1205-1232, a relic said to be the head of Maurice was procured from the Holy Land. The image of St. Maurice has been examined in detail by Gute Sukkale Redlinson, who demonstrated that this image of Maurice has existed since Maurice's first depiction in Germany between the Weser and the Elbe, and spread to Bohemia, where it became associated with the imperial ambitions of the House of Luxembourg. According to Sukkale Redlinson, the image of Maurice reached its apogee during the years 1490 to 1530. Images of the saint died out in the mid-16th century, undermined as Sukkale Redlinson suggests by the developing Atlantic slave trade. Once again, as in the early Middle Ages, the color black became associated with spiritual darkness and cultural otherness. There is an oil painting on wood of Maurice by Lucas Craignet the Elder, 1472-1554, 1953 in the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Your videographer, cinematographer, and narrator has been Gregory Evans Calloway, Holy Angels Catholic Church, Chicago, Illinois. Our closing prayer. Almighty and everlasting God, look upon the heart of thy well-beloved Son, and upon the praise and satisfaction which he offers unto thee in the name of sinners, and do thou thy great goodness grant them pardon when they seek thy mercy in the name of Jesus Christ, thy Son, who liveth and reigneth with thee forever and ever. Amen.